Hello everyone. Welcome back to my channel, Mr. Bytes and Logic. I'm your host, and today we are diving into some fascinating myths and their realities in three intriguing realms: space, horror, and programming. These topics are not just fascinating, but they also help us understand the world, the universe, and even technology a little better. So, let's get started. Space myths. Myth 1. Black holes suck everything in. You might have heard that black holes suck everything in, like an unstoppable cosmic vacuum cleaner. Reality: black holes don't suck in everything. Their gravitational pull only affects objects that get too close, within a certain distance called the event horizon. Think of it like a whirlpool, it only pulls you in if you venture too near. Myth 2. You can't hear sounds in space. Space is completely silent, right? Well, not exactly. Reality: in space, sound waves can't travel because there's no air or medium to carry them. However, astronauts can hear sounds inside their spacecraft, and certain electromagnetic waves in space can be converted into sound using instruments. So, while space itself is quiet, we can still detect space sounds. Myth 3. The Great Wall of China is visible from space. You may have heard people claim that the Great Wall of China is visible from space. Reality: astronauts have debunked this myth. The Great Wall is not easily visible to the naked eye from space. It blends into the surrounding landscape, making it almost impossible to see without telescopic aids. Myth 4. The moon has a dark side. Many believe in the dark side of the moon, a side of the moon that never sees sunlight. Reality: there is no permanent dark side. The moon rotates, and both sides receive sunlight. What people mean by the dark side is actually the far side of the moon, which is always facing away from Earth, but it still gets sunlight. Myth 5. Space is cold. Space is freezing cold. We've all heard this. Reality: space itself doesn't have a temperature because it's mostly empty. Temperature only applies to matter, so an object in space can either be extremely cold or very hot, depending on whether it's in direct sunlight or shade. Horror myths. Myth 6. Horror movies are just about jump scares. Some say horror movies are only scary because of jump scares. Reality: while jump scares are a popular tool, good horror movies rely on atmosphere, suspense, and deeper psychological fears. Many of them explore complex themes like grief, survival, and even societal issues. Myth 7. Ghosts are always evil. In movies and folklore, ghosts are always evil or malicious. Reality: in many cultures, ghosts are seen as benign or even protective spirits. Some cultures believe that ghosts are ancestors who guide and protect the living. Horror movies often simplify these complex beliefs. Myth 8. Vampires turn into bats. Many films show that vampires can transform into bats. Reality: this idea comes from folklore and was popularized by Dracula, but it's not a universal vampire trait. Vampires from different cultures have a wide variety of characteristics. Some don't even resemble the bat-transforming creatures we see in Hollywood. Myth 9. You should never split up in a horror movie. We've all screamed at the screen, "Don't split up." Reality: while sticking together might seem like the safest bet in real life, characters in horror films split up to create tension and allow for different subplots. It's a narrative device, though it rarely works out for the characters. Myth 10. Zombies eat brains. A classic myth from zombie lore is that zombies specifically crave brains. Reality: this trope was popularized by the movie Return of the Living Dead, 1985, but zombies, in most stories, are depicted as feeding on any flesh, not just brains. It's a fun, but inaccurate, part of zombie mythology. Myth 11. Ouija boards always summon evil spirits. Many believe that Ouija boards always attract evil spirits. Reality: while Ouija boards are often portrayed as portals to evil entities in horror films, there's no scientific evidence that using one is dangerous or can summon spirits. It's a game, albeit one with a spooky reputation. Programming myths. Myth 12. You need to be a math genius to code. Programming is only for people who are good at math. Reality: while certain fields of programming, like game development or data science, may involve more math, most programming is about problem solving and logic. Many successful developers aren't math experts, they're just great at breaking down problems into code. Myth 13. Coding is a solitary job. Another common myth is that coding is a lonely job where you sit alone all day. Reality: programming is often highly collaborative. Developers work in teams, participate in code reviews, and frequently discuss problems and solutions. Communication and teamwork are essential parts of most programming jobs. Myth 14. Learning to code is too difficult. Learning to code is way too hard for most people. Reality: coding can be challenging, but thanks to modern resources, tutorials, coding boot camps, and interactive websites, it's easier than ever to start learning. With time and practice, anyone can learn to code. Myth 15: once you learn one language, you know them all. Many beginners believe, once you learn one programming language, you can code in all of them. Reality: learning one language helps you understand programming concepts, but each language has its own syntax and best practices. While there's overlap, every language has its own learning curve. And there you have it, 15 myths debunked across space, horror, and programming. I hope this video helped you separate fact from fiction and inspired some curiosity in these amazing fields. Which myth surprised you the most? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to like this video if you found it interesting. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to Mr. Bytes and Logic and click the bell icon to stay updated with more fun and educational content. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.